right. All right. What's up, boys? So, first podcast.
Yeah.
Got Chase Zancauske, Morgan Huebner on here with Cathlees Real Estate. And we go back a ways. I was actually with Morgan before I was with Chase, but I knew Chase.
Yep.
At kind of at the same, probably right at the same time, because I was buying a house from you. Right at the same time, I was meeting Morgan.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
So I bought my first rental house.
Yeah.
2017, 2018.
Yeah. Oh, that one bedroom.
Yes, I bought a one bedroom for you. So I think I bought.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I bought a house from Morgan in 2018 as a rental property, and then my second rental house was from you, and that's how I met you.
Yeah.
And then
Junk house.
Oh man.
I wish I still had it. You did sell cheap.
I wish I still had it.
Yes.
I can go in reverse.
Right. So, and then you guys kind of got together not too long after that.
What year was that? 19?
It was 2019.
Because Morgan was working for a different real estate company.
Yeah.
Yep.
Made
And then
the switch. So.
and I remember Chase messaging me. I remember we talked. Like we were just like Snapchat or something. We were texting and stuff. And you said you
investments. And that's basically how it all. Yeah.
Yep. And you're like, I need another realtor. And I was like, you should talk to Morgan. Because I remember I was with Morgan. You were trying to get me to go to Cathlees, and I'm like, I'm with Morgan. I'm stuck with Morgan. So I'm like, you're gonna have to get him over there too. And you're like, well, I'm working on it.
I didn't realize, of course, all circumstances at times and things, but it
Sure.
worked out perfect. And how it, And
I think it's
take over the office and
Yeah, it worked
you
out
nailed
great.
it. So
right. It's because Morgan runs your office now.
Yep.
Gotcha. And so I really want to know.
He had to get his broker's license.
Yeah,
and
broker's
stuff.
license. Got that within 3-4
quick.
months done, and
Yeah.
then took it over. Yeah, about the first of the year. And we got together at the fair last year.
That's what
Hey,
I remember.
you got to have that one closer to you.
Yeah,
It's got to be about like a fist away.
is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, got together at the fair and then come over in like October and
Yep.
took it over in January.
It was
so
perfect, actually.
Yeah, it was great.
So can we take it back a little bit further? I would like to know where you started out from. Like Cathlees was actually your grandma, right?
Yeah.
So how'd she start it, and how'd you end up with it?
She started in '87, I want to say, in real estate. She actually worked for somebody else. I can't remember the name in town.
In Owensville or Sullivan?
In Owensville. Before, she was
Sterling?
a Caldwell banker for a while. And then, was it
Sterling, I think?
It was on the other side of Adams.
Yeah, it'd be Sterling, I believe.
Yep. So Sterling for a long time, and then her and a couple others left there. Brenda Lindbergh, a couple others, and Marsha Ferris, and they went and started
Their own thing.
in '97.
And that's where Cathlees came in.
Yep.
So Cathlees was in Owensville, and then you're the one that took Cathlees to Sullivan.
Yes.
And do you only have 2 branches?
Yes. And so we had Bell, though, at one time, but we thought we could service the Bell area through Owensville and
Right.
stuff like that, and it's easier to consolidate,
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You don't have to have somebody in the office, at both locations all the time, things like that. It's easier to run it out of one. So we switched that, and that's when I was from Sullivan, so I then moved it back, that way, and I already had a good clientele just from hustling.
Yeah, Morgan runs Owens' office
Owensville office.
90% of the time.
Oh, yeah, 99. Don't fix the numbers. Yeah.
Chase does Sullivan. I just stay out of there. I don't have any business being over there. So.
Well, and that's main reason I had him come in, and that was the idea, and he took it and did it, and they operate as a family and shit. So
Right.
it works perfect on that.
Just makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, 20 years old, or 19, I was cutting lawns for my grandma, and she needed help in the office. She didn't know how to run the damn computer.
Really?
So I was going in and helping her on little things.
So you didn't even have your real estate license then?
No, I wasn't. But I would go help her out on like she would need photos done or something. And I knew how to use these new cameras and crap like that. So
That's at 19, 20?
19 and 20. And
So-
then 21, she convinced me, at 20, she convinced me to get my real estate license. So my 21st birthday, I got same day I got my license.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I won't forget the day ever.
When did you sell your first house? Your first house you sold?
Yeah. A couple months after that, Jeb Majeski, $13,000.
$13,000 house.
Oh God, I can't mention it.
Well, I don't think that matters.
This is back in 2010, 11.
Hey, make sure to keep the mic relatively close, though.
Okay, but
you can swivel it. It swivels in and
I
out.
will never forget that, and that's also, and of course, I'm not going to mention the number definitely because I say this. My even pin codes and stuff from my first offer on my first house is the same way as like I used my pin code off my first offer. Because
now, what's a PIN code?
Like to get in your phones and stuff, it's usually 6. Well, it was at first was 6 digits. So I was like, what did I have? That's like 6. You know, it was my first offer on a house. So I just
wow.
Well, yeah.
That's how you made your first offer.
Cherry Street was my first house.
Oh, really?
Well, no, I bought that.
So you're talking your personal first house?
I didn't live there. It was a rental first.
Rental first.
Oh yeah, I bought rentals first.
Really?
So you that $13,000
even now,
house.
people probably wouldn't judge me because I live pretty content, is what I would call it.
Sure,
You
minimalist.
sold that $13,000 house, and you made your what, $400 or $500, and you were just killing it back then, right?
Well, I couldn't. Yeah, that was
21.
the other thing is like 6 months in, I didn't have no motivation. Really, I would say into real estate until about 6 months in. I had my first good sale. It was $250,000, and I had made, on the sale of like a farm. Mm-hmm. And basically, like that commission motivated me to be like, oh, you can.
There is some money here.
5 hours into this.
Yeah.
And I just kind of called this guy out of the blue, like had looked at it, and he thought it was meant to be. And so they bought the place in Cuba, and I had both sides of the transaction, so you get a little more commission. And basically, it motivated me. It's like, oh, you can make some money. And so then I went after it, and honestly, got in with Alan Lauder, those guys, and Lauder just talking and telling people helped a lot. So.
Sure. And then how many years in before you bought your rental your first year too?
So my grandma always told me to get into rentals, but I didn't know what I was doing. And this is funny, I just mentioned Alan. So Alan is the one that showed me how to get into rentals.
Right. That's what I always heard too.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's the one that kind of pushed, and he's the one that passed on Cherry Street to let me buy it. So.
Oh, really? That's funny.
He said he doesn't like the tree street.
Hey, who does, man? Yeah. Well, Morgan, so from me knowing you, but everybody else doesn't know this, like your family not came from rentals, but your parents had it.
Yeah.
Like they started investing in it.
Yeah, Jay-Z sold
Parents rental
rentals
houses.
to my mom and dad. Yes, so I grew up around it and knew it, and I knew there was money to be made in the rental deal, and so I always kind of looked forward to buying some.
Right.
I never really put myself into being an agent, but I think it just kind of worked out.
When did you buy your first one? What age?
I guess I was 20 years old when I bought my
20 years
first one.
old?
Yeah.
And did you get your real estate license at 18?
No, I got my real estate license, bought my first farm rentals at 20, and had my license right before I turned 21.
So you bought a farm first.
Yeah.
But you do cows.
Yeah.
I guess we should tell people that. Like you're big into farming.
Yeah.
So he does real estate by the day, but his farming's like your passion.
Exactly.
Like that's what you really like.
Grew up doing it, so still
Sure.
good. Yeah.
Sure. Do you remember your first house you sold?
Yeah, it was literally the neighbor to where I grew up. So I got my license, and then I was driving down the road one day, and there was a for sale by owner sign there, and I stopped and asked him, I said, hey, we can list this for you, and I can get it sold for you. And yeah, that's how I got my first listing and first sale there.
Really? Just stopping in and telling that?
Stopping and talk to him, yeah.
See, there's some power in that.
There is, definitely.
I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen like stuff like that, or just like I have that sign out in front of my business, and that's how I just got a sale. That's just how we got a house.
Yeah.
That me and you are flipping right now.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, like I don't know. There's so much like just hidden stuff out there that people
Yeah.
aren't even paying attention
You gotta
to.
put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And especially in crazy markets.
Yeah.
You know, because like this, what we're just coming out of right now is definitely a crazy market.
Yeah.
And you know, I talk about it all the time how, like I wish I would have known, like back when I first started out, 2018, 2019, these houses were cheap. 2017, these houses were cheap. And I remember looking at some of them that were like $40,000, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to buy that. I'm like, it's still a little much. And then the market shot up, and I'm like, oh, I would kill to have those deals again.
Right,
Even
yeah.
rental prices and everything on both ends, like
Yeah.
it definitely went up on crazy. And then house with land, all that stuff. That's what the demand came in, and now look at us. I mean,
right.
it's crazy how much some of this stuff's going for us.
Right, but now it's starting to correct.
A little bit.
Because, because the interest rate's changing. And that's something that, like, everybody's been talking about for a long time. Like, market's going to change. You know, things are going to crash. Things are going to blow. I don't even think things are going to, like, I don't think anything will crash.
No.
I think it's just slowly just going to, like, teeter the other way.
Yeah.
Like how it slowly went up, I think it's going to slowly go back down.
It's going to take a lot of buyers out of the realm, you know. Instead of $500,000 house, you know, interest rates come up percent and a half, and then they're down to
they came up 3% now.
300, 350, yeah. I mean, 1% changes a lot in your monthly payment.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But 6 months ago, it was 3%, right?
Yeah.
And now it's 6%.
Yeah, now it's 6, yeah.
But after the adjustment, the prices really haven't, like you said, changed that much. So when they bring the price, the price back down, what happens to those houses? Prices are just going to be that much higher. So even through a bad, I was listening actually and a couple different guys and was like, maybe he's right or maybe he's right. There is an adjustment and stuff that's going to be had, but it's not going to be severe. And then when they do lower interest rates again, where do those prices go back to?
Right.
Higher than what they are now.
Yeah.
So
higher than right now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because but do you think they're going to go
adjust for inflation? But
do you think they're going to go back down?
They tend to do it. They control the economies and.
Well, okay. I guess when we say they're going to go back down, you think they're going to go back down next presidency?
It'll take a while, I'd say.
Because it's just now starting to go
They usually
up.
take about 3 years and it adjusts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
I would totally agree with that too. I mean, give or take. Right. Nobody really ever
crazy,
knows.
Though, that you said 6 months, it's adjusted up this quick. But when they come back down, they won't be, unless we are in a hard, economic times, then they might do the 1 point or, almost a full percent basically. But that's crazy to have those big jumps. And they said they're talking about having a percent jump this time. They meet every 8 weeks. So, and it's all based off the Federal Reserve. So,
right.
I mean, it's crazy because, when I bought my first farm, I was paying 5.65 for interest. And, that wasn't bad back then,
No. I just refinanced everything.
It was bad back then. But nowadays, if you weren't hitting, one I hit 2.5 on. And we were killing it then, but I wouldn't think about paying 5.6 for one. But
right.
A couple of years ago, that was the norm. So,
yeah.
And it's going to get back to that right now.
No, and they brought it back to the normal, and they're going to go probably a little higher because the inflation and stuff to slow down the economy. But that's the whole thing. It'll be, I think, more of a slow adjustment. We'll see some harder times for a while, but then it's the same thing that's going to happen again. And then it usually goes in about 13-year cycles. And this guy pointed out the other day, every 7 years, there's usually at least a recession. We haven't had one for the longest time since our economy. It's been over it's going on 14 years. So.
Now, I know some older guys that talk about the 80s when it shot up to 19-20%. You think it'll ever do that again?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I sure hope not.
I don't think so.
Crazy.
I don't think so either, but I mean it's not impossible though, right?
No, it's not impossible. It's not in our control, so.
Yeah.
And we're at the, what their demise basically, what they do controls the markets. So
right.
And it's good we have demand from. We're one of the states that have a surplus. We've got this past year we had almost 20,000 people move from out of state here, added to our population and stuff. Where other states are starting to lose population and things. So
sure,
I don't think we'll see as hard as times because of certain aspects. I'm not trying to get political or anything, but basically we're getting attention not as much as Texas or Florida, but we're still getting
people moving out of the West.
Yep.
Moving out this way more.
Well, and Illinois gets a big chunk. I was surprised. Kansas actually too. So Kansas was their number one move to overstate. So a lot of people moved from Kansas to Missouri, but I know KC's blowing up, all that stuff. So might have a lot.
Well, we were getting all kinds of people renting. You could rent people from California all the time, coming out to rent and stuff.
Well, and then they see this, and this is cheap rent. They're from California,
right? Even compared to St. Louis,
cheap house, because they just sold their house for $500,000 in this area, and they're getting a nice little farm out here. They've never even had that much land,
right?
So that's
there was a girl that moved from Colorado came out here, and she was saying the same thing. She's like, just the difference in price. She's like,
price per acre is way lower than all the surrounding states, so on and so forth. So, but it should be, and it's starting to jump up, and that's what people are even seeing. Is I'm surprised how high some of these prices have gone. But you have people come in with out of town money, and
you're talking land and houses,
houses, all of it,
everything.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember it was like it was crazy because I didn't know a single person that put a house up for sale that did not get above asking price. Yeah. And then I finally got a deal.
Yeah.
Fix her up and put it up for sale, and then couldn't get a freaking decent bite.
Yeah.
So and it was really interesting just to see the difference like in the past few months. Yeah.
So we're a month late got on that deal. So but we made it work. But
yeah, we did make it work. But also like some people get in some deals they shouldn't be in. They have like no. I don't know what the word would be. Financial education, like they just lack this thing where they just don't like really research into it, and they just jump into it with like no research at all, and then they pay top dollar, and you guys know you make the money when you buy it, not when you sell it.
Exactly right.
And so like they buy at the top of the market, and then they put it on the market, and then they can't budge off that price. I feel like that's where a lot of people are. Struggling right now.
Correct.
Well, I mean, the only problem with that was because they did it the last 2 years and it worked out.
It's true.
Because this market kept growing.
Yeah.
So, they bought top dollar, and then as they were fixing it, they got, top dollar then. So it was another 20% on top.
Mm-hmm.
But then now it's going the opposite way. So they're going to be upside down in them.
And is that like that has to be like people that were doing that? You think that was people that were in the market, like didn't get into the market until the market went up?
Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah,
because like
there's a lot of people now that they're like, "Oh, I want to flip houses," and they don't have any clue of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a clue of what we're doing either, but we've at least done a couple now. So
yeah, I mean, you're always learning.
Yeah,
like you're always learning.
Yeah,
I've learned something every time I buy a house. I learn something new.
Yeah.
Well, every single time. Cost of material, everything jumping up. It's a lot harder to, go out and make that dollar stretch right now. So
sure.
Yeah, but like I said, they were able to do it then, but then now. They're going to keep trying to do it until they lose too much money, and then they're going to be out of it again. So,
right, and I see a lot of people
learning curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes some people aren't willing to just take a hit either. Like I've taken a hit on I haven't had a house yet that I've had to take a hit on, but I've had I used to flip cars all the time, and like I took lots of hits on them, and it's just like, do I sit here and let this thing sit forever? I mean, the value is a value.
Yep.
Like I don't think people understand that. Like just because you clean it up a little extra, it's not gonna like it's
make a difference.
Yeah, like if a vehicle is worth $10,000, or a house is worth $100,000, you can't ask $120 and just hope someone's going to give you that extra $20. Like it's very rare that you actually get that. Like if you get an appraisal on a house and it's $100,000, it's very rare you get more. And this past market you did. And this past market you did. But that's because the prices kept going up.
Right.
And it was a supply and demand thing.
No, right.
That's what it was.
Ran so short. It kind of the same thing in 07, except for the loans. There was a lot more bad loans in 07 stuff, which that's what we don't have now. People are like, you do get checked, like your credit score, all that stuff's checked out. So now it's not this. I don't think the crash will be exactly like the same. It's not going to be like a crash. It's
right, because there was subsidized loans back then, right?
Mm-hmm. They would get a loan in their dog's name, and like not verified income and stuff. So it's a big difference now.
Yeah. Which is just crazy to think that
you wouldn't verify somebody's income. Yeah, and they're just giving loans out left and right.
But that's also why some people have so much trouble getting a loan.
No, right.
Like some people that. There's a lot of people that can pay rent and then they can't get approved for a home loan.
Which is almost crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Some of the, rent prices compared to, owning and stuff too, even with the current interest rates, it's almost like, I would say even.
Right.
It just depends if you want to be there long term or not,
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people have a problem coming up with down payment, especially on like if you get a conventional home loan. Back in the day, it used to be 10% down, but now it's 20% down. And 20% down is quite a bit if you're trying to get a $250,000 house.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's like
there's 100% finance. the USDA is like the regular home.
Yes.
Regular Joes, they like that are not trying to invest. They're just trying to buy or rent and live and work their job. Like that's gonna be, they can afford at $1,200 a month. They can almost $200,000 house.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's also a 3 or 4 bedroom rental price now. So
Right.
that's depends if you want to work on it or not.
Yeah. Most people don't want to work on it.
No, right.
Most people don't want to fix toilets.
The thing is, like, if an air unit goes out, there's 3 or 4. The homeowner.
That's the biggest deal with renters. Yeah, because they don't like the unknown expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that
scares
AC,
people.
How's that AC unit doing, Ryan?
Dude, I at least put in one a year. At least one AC unit a year, man.
And
It's
most
crazy.
renters, that's $3, $4, $5 and they can't cover that for a house. So
No.
Just for an AC condenser this year is $5,000. And back in 2019, when they priced it for me, the whole HVAC system was $5,500.
Yeah, crazy.
Now, just 4 or 5 years later, just the condenser was $5,000.
yeah.
8%.
So you rent a
crazy,
you rent a
man.
house for $1,000 a month, and then you ain't got to worry about that $5,000 expense. It's gonna come sooner or later. We all know it. It's just a matter of time.
And that's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the roofs and the upkeep, and you have to stay in front of them. Otherwise, you run into those issues.
See, and that's what people think about rental properties, that they're just like that, that don't actually look into them, that just see like from the outside looking in. They're like, oh, it's just easy money. You buy this place, you put them in it, it's done. You just make. They don't even think that you have a mortgage to pay on it. Still, you still have insurance to pay on it. Yeah, they think it's just paid off when you buy it, and so it's not all cash flow.
No.
And then on top of it, if you have an AC unit that goes out, and I do every single year, there goes all your profits for the whole entire year. And it's like people don't like. Not only did I just lose all my profits for the year, but I still gotta go there and fix that freaking lady's toilet. I was just fixing a lady's toilet yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to take off. I was at the gym. I took off from the gym, and had to go fix this lady's toilet for 2 hours.
Right.
And it's just part of it, and people don't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
No, and that's the other thing, and then it becomes annoying, and that's why. And when a lot of people want to get into rentals or whatever, I say, well, don't aim for 2 or 3. Go to 10, because then it usually makes more sense.
That's when you start bringing in some money back.
Yeah.
Bring in some money, and all your expenses are usually covered.
Yeah.
And so that's
When you get, 1, it's just a very small trickle of money coming in, but you get 10, it's compounding.
extra a month, say on the 1, but then when you get a furnace go out, you're still pulling that money back in. But
Still cover that,
when you
yeah.
have 10. Hopefully that a couple hundred, there's 3,000. Maybe you still have to bring some money back now at today's prices, but
Right.
same thing. It's basically covered out of a couple months rent. So,
Right. And I've always heard that too,
Yeah,
mainly from you.
mainly from me.
But I have heard other people say that.
No, but
No,
I just
that's-
try to tell everybody get past 10 because then,
Accumulate some.
and then the cash flow makes a lot more sense.
Right. See, a lot of people don't understand the difference, like on the cash flow versus everything else. Like, so a lot of people like look at them and they just look at like what the house is worth and how much they can make off of it. And I get a lot of people that are in it and they just want to make the quick cash.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not it,
See how
man.
much you're getting taxed. Like, so what first year flip right now is 56% total capital gains. So you're only bringing home less than half your money, and you're
Really?
taking all the risk.
Yeah.
Like, so
And then at the end of
their tax write-offs, you can't. You're gonna eat that entire, whatever your profit. So for every 10,000 you make, 5,600 goes home with the government.
right. Yeah. Right.
So that, like, people don't think about that, and they just let it.
No, because they just want a
spend
chunk
through
of
that money,
change.
too.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, they're like, why am I paying so much, or why am I not getting enough back in taxes?
Yeah, because you don't get taxed on it when you sell the house, you get all the money.
Yeah, exactly right.
You don't get taxed at the end of the year where you have to report that
Right.
$100,000 you made on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you got to pay 56% of it back, and they've already spent it all. They went out and bought a new car and put a new porch on their house and went on a nice vacation to like Greece or something.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's where a lot of people get in trouble.
Be upside down pretty damn quick. Yeah.
And it's just and that's the whole thing. Is more or less most of it. To me, is a tax game. It's honestly even business, all of that.
You got to learn a little bit of taxes.
You do.
A lot of
Definitely.
taxes.
You need a good CPA, but you need to learn it on your own too.
Correct.
You need to learn everything on your own.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, so you know what you're doing. Otherwise, how do you know if you're getting fooled or not? If
Right.
you over your eyes or not? Because basically, if you know or if you've looked into it, you'll know somewhat.
Right.
And even that has helped me and gone a long way, just even on like real estate deals and stuff, because I heard about it in a book, and then this guy's talking about it, so I could give a little insight.
Mm-hmm.
That little insight opened him up to giving me all the insight.
Yes.
Just stuff like that is like, oh man, he's interested in this, and he's poked at this, and now here you go. Like, this is how this works, you know?
Yep.
You can get...
No, I totally agree with that too. I even, like my CPA, I bought a, I don't remember what it was an audiobook, but it was over taxes. And it was the most boring book I've ever listened to in my life. And it was so hard to even listen to. Because like I was telling Chase that Rich Dad, dude, it's so boring. And like, and like if I listen to anything like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or like on an audiobook and stuff, my mind just starts to wander. So I have to like really try to focus, like, because I'll think of an idea, like it'll give me an idea listening to a book, and then
start thinking about the idea.
Yeah, and I start thinking about the idea, and I don't even know what they're saying in the book anymore. And so that's why I have to like try to physically read it. Even when I'm reading it, I do that sometimes though. Like I get energy from it.
Like you daydream off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing.
No, it is. That means you have ambition. Like that's sparking ideas. I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And I think. But even off of that tax book, I learned a few things, and I went back to my CPA and I was like, "Hey, can we try this? Can we do this?" And she's like, "Sure."
It's like, why wasn't I being told?
Yeah,
Exactly right.
you know, and at the end of the day, like they don't know what your goal is, like what you're going after. Like, I know, my first decent year in real estate. Yeah, I did my taxes, but I had spent enough. I had redid a house or something like that, and I had a lot of expenses, and it actually showed that I lost money. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the bank the next year, and they told me I couldn't get any money because they're like, "You're showing a loss, you know, like your business doesn't make any money, Ryan. Why would we give you stuff?" And I'm like, "Well, I made money." I was like, it didn't show it, you know, and I remember that was like a learning thing right there.
Right.
That I was like, oh, you can't, and even, you know, I even talked about, because my loan officer, you know, Stephanie, she's awesome. She's going to come on the podcast actually Friday.
That's awesome.
And so I think it's going to be a good podcast. But, you know, we talked about it, and she's like, well, yeah, we might want to figure out, you know, they know, the bank knows that most people are trying not to pay taxes. So you're trying to write off as much stuff as you can. Yeah. And show as much expenses as you can. Right. And so they should be able to look at the numbers and understand it, but that was like a learning curve. Right. We had to deal with, like just figuring out like, okay, maybe we don't show a loss. Maybe we just try to get as close to breaking even as possible. Yeah. Right. And so now that's usually what I try to do.
Right.
So this past year was a lot better.
No, and that's like just realizing things and reading the books. And I had one client that he bought a apartment building / had commercial units downstairs, and he used to own it, so he's like, I'm just cutting off the upstairs, it's old, whatever. And I convinced him to put $150K into the upstairs for the tax write-offs. Mm-hmm. And went to his CPA and everything, and he ended up actually getting $2,500 a month just off the upstairs once he was done. So he had that cash flow plus all the tax write-offs and plus the purchase of the real estate. So
$2,500 off the top,
just off the top.
He put 150 in.
150 in.
Me and you both know that's good money, right?
Well, and it was, so he basically said, for my purchase now of the building and this, like, I'm already cash flowing. Before he was renting the downstairs units. Now it's all full. You know, you're making $4,500, maybe $5,000, because it's not all full. There's another building behind. It has 2 left open out of 8 commercial units. And it has 8 apartments now upstairs. Separate them all, brand new air, brand new everything, but that's all tax write-offs.
Yeah.
And so he didn't pay no taxes, and he was mind blown. And he owns a lot of real estate.
Right.
And he's just now figuring this out at, 70 plus years old and shit. And he's in there telling his CPA the same shit, like, why the hell why did I never not know this, and why was I never not told?
Right.
Crap like that.
And see, but that's also the beauty of it. 7 years old and still learning, right?
Yeah. Right. No,
like
still,
that,
and still going, and he's still fixing toilets and doing all that.
Yeah.
Crap. So.
Yeah. I've definitely, nobody wants to do that kind of stuff, but it's kind of part of it. And the more you get into it, the more money you'll make, as long as you stay with it, and like you don't have to. if you make some money, you can pay someone to fix a toilet if you don't feel like doing it every now and then. But if you always pay someone, most likely, especially at the beginning, if you're not starting out with money, like if you're starting from nothing, you're gonna have to fix some toilets.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But like this guy at 70, he's still, he's still kicking and doing it, and like to me, that's inspiration. Like that's cool.
That's funny because my first rental
How long
house,
have you been in this?
30 minutes, something like that.
Okay, we're not too bad then.
first rental house, when I bought it, I'd already had it rented, and I had 2 days, but I couldn't get in it early because it was owned by Fannie Mae, and so I had to close to get in it, and worked during the day, so I spent all night painting it, doing all that shit until
What do you mean it was owned by Fannie Mae?
the foreclosure.
Fannie Mae's a foreclosure thing? I've heard of
Fannie
it.
Mae's
I've never
the
done
biggest
it.
bank.
Yeah.
So basically, they do majority of loans, and so they buy the loans majority from the banks and stuff like that.
So you bought, your first house, you bought off Fannie Mae?
Fannie Mae foreclosure, Cherry Street, 412, I think, Cherry Street.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 bed, 2 bath, 1 car garage.
But you didn't keep it.
I should have kept it.
You should have kept it, man.
Right now?
I don't have any on Cherry.
You don't have any?
I have that one across from. That's not Cherry. What is that other?
Pear.
You have one over there. I did. But you had one.
Yeah,
over
he
there.
is.
You have one across the street.
Oh, yeah. 907 Maple Street. That's
Maple
it.
Street.
Yeah.
That's gone now too, though.
Huh?
You sold that too now. Though.
Yeah.
You sold that one. I
Yeah.
still got the one across. I bought that. See, I paid the same price for that 3 bed, 2 bath as I did for the 1 bedroom, basically.
Well,
across.
you're probably, and you're probably even managing it.
Right.
No, 907.
Yeah.
My old house.
No, we are. Yeah, we
But
are.
did you sell it to Nick's?
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you after the podcast who I sold it to. I don't want to name drop anyone, but yeah, I'll tell you after the podcast.
That's
so.
Yeah, we got
I
it.
know who it is now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
I only reason I did is because I was in that's when I bought the gym, and I was like, not that it was a terrible house. I really did like it. It was a good house. We put a crap ton of money into it.
Yeah.
That was one of me and and then I had it for 3 months, and this freaking lady completely trashed it, dude. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
I had it. I rented out to this chick. She moved. She was originally from here, but then moved away, and she came back. She was living with her friend, and she needed a place to stay. And I wasn't even. I remember I ignored her. Like I was like, nah, this isn't the one. Well, someone else had messaged me for her, and a lot of times I'll leave applications for them to fill out at the house in the mailbox, and then they drop them back off there. This is back before I had a business.
Yeah.
And like an office and stuff. And so
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, and so they dropped it back off, and I got it, and she wrote me a letter about how, like, she explained, like, hey, I need this house, and I'm a really hard worker, I have a job, I can afford this much, and I just need a place. And she gave me this whole story, and I was like, okay, someone that's willing to put in this much work has got to be a decent person.
Right.
And she was a decent person. And then 3 months went in, dude, and this house was brand new, dude. We had to do drywall, flooring, cabinets, everything. Bathrooms all
Here's the
redone.
horror story for the day.
Yes. This is definitely a horror story. This is definitely my worst tenant yet. Yeah. And so I move her in. First month's great. Second month's great. And then, like, every month when she came to pay rent, I could tell she was going downhill. Like, she wasn't, like, she was started wearing like pajamas in when she came to pay, and then her hair was just like all a mess, and then her teeth were like starting to get real gross. And I was like, man, this, like, not to judge anyone. I mean, it wasn't up for judgment, but when they're living in your house, I was kind of like watching it happen. And then I remember I seen on Facebook, the cops, like the police department share stuff. This is not good. This is not good. And the cops had.
Don't you love seeing your own house out there?
Well, they didn't say the address. They said on the 900 block, and so it's pretty close to home, And I was like, man, that's freaking crazy. And what they said is basically this person got caught with drugs, like fentanyl and just a bunch of paraphernalia stuff, and they had to chase a dude down. But I didn't have a dude living in my house. I had a chick living there. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. They had to kick the door down, and the guy ran out the back, and there was a freaking police chase on foot chasing this guy. But I didn't know at the time because it was, it didn't say the address, and I had a chick living there. I didn't have a dude living there. And then it was like a few days later, the tenant had called me or texted me and said the basement was flooding. The roof leaked. And the basement was flooding. And I was like, what? And so I'm like, all right, I'll send someone over there. And I was working a full-time job, so I couldn't make it throughout the day. But that was like, it was raining a bunch at the time too. And I was like, okay, that's something you need to call someone and get them there right away. So this guy goes over there, and we all know him. He's like, he's our maintenance guys, same guys Cathlees use. And he said he knocked on the door. And he said nobody answered, but he's like, Ryan, you had a giant hole in your door, like someone tried to kick it in, and he said I could hear a big dog inside, a big dog, and they're not supposed to have animals at all. And he's like, but this thing was definitely big. He's like, but nobody answered, so he's like, I didn't know what to do. And then he came back, and we're just chatting about it, and I was like, man, this freaking is ridiculous. We're just talking about it, and. As he's saying about the big hole in the door and the dog inside, and he's telling me that, there was a pile of trash outside that I was being told that
in the trash cans. Or?
They quit getting trash pickups, so they were just throwing it in a pile outside. Oh. Yeah, and so
oh no,
I was like, and then we were talking about it, and that's whenever the pieces connected, and I was like, oh. That was my house that got the door kicked in on. Oh. And so I was just like, all right, I'm done. This chick's got to go. Right. Like, so we're like 4 months into this rental. And I finally go there. She won't answer my calls, and rent's due. She's not paying rent. Everything's going bad. And I would call her. She wouldn't answer me. She wouldn't answer my text. So I was just going there 3 times a day. I'd go there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I would stick a note up on the door. I would knock, everything like that. And I finally got a hold of somebody else that could get a hold of her old roommate, and got in contact with her. And she finally texted me back and was like, basically said she paid rent, so she was able to stay. Because somehow I think she paid like partial rent, or it was something weird, but she thought she could stay. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, there is no way you're staying. And she ended up moving out, but she let a boyfriend move in and put his name on all the documents, so I couldn't kick him out. She was long gone. She took all her furniture, everything, but he was still there living in it, and I had to take that dude to court. But I get a lawyer, everything like that. Because they can't get served until they give them the papers. So as long as they avoid them, they're good. And dude, they ended up burning the trash, and it burnt the siding off my shed and my house. And then. And I remember I went there one day, and after I knew she was gone, and after I just got tired of dealing with it, and I'm beating on the door, and I'm looking through the window, and as I'm looking through the window off to the side, I see a head, like this is the wall, I see a head, just one eye poke around the corner, and it's this dude hiding out in my house, and I'm yelling through the window, open the freaking door! And he finally came to the door, and he's like, I thought you were the cops coming to serve me. And I'm like, you're gonna get served, dude. I'm taking you out of this house. I'm like, you can either just leave now, and I won't sue you for all this damage, because I'm looking in this house, and everything's damaged, dude. Dude, there's crap on the ceiling. There's crap on the walls, dude. They just destroyed everything.
3 months.
Yeah. 3 months, dude. A brand new house, man. I'm talking new drywall, new electric, new everything, flooring, dude. It was insane. And the dude was padlocking the front door up, and padlocking the bedroom door, and he was going in and out the bedroom window. And the house next door was getting renovated, so he was taking extension cords and plugging them into the neighbor's basement and running them into my house for electric. Yeah, it was the craziest thing ever. And I finally took him to court, and it was estimated over $10,000 worth of damage, and yeah, we finally got him out, and I went in and I redid it all again and cleaned it up and fixed it up, made it nice again, and then we got it rented out. And then when I ended up buying a business, bought the gym, and then I was like, I think that's the one I'm going to let go. You know, like, and that's part of like cutting the ties. You know, like I dumped a ton of money into it. I redid it twice. Did all the stuff, and I was just like, if I'm going to let one go, because I needed some money to put back in the gym, and I'm like, this is the one I need to let go. For sure. For sure. That was quite a long story, but
no, that's hilarious.
Crazy. Well, that's definitely my horror story. Yeah. And after that, I don't like not to be heartless, but I don't give people chances anymore.
Well, and that's why a lot of people, when they even contact us, it's like, look, we do this certain process, certain way, because a lot of people give us these stories, and that's what, you know, that's why we get it checked, make sure there is no other evictions, all that stuff behind, because holy cow. Because there's some people that just jump house to house and do that at every one.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why I take them to court. I remember the first guy I had to take to court. I was like, I don't care if I get paid a single dime. I just want to make sure
that you can't go
never does it again. Yeah.
He doesn't do this to someone else. Yeah. You know, like I want to be the last person he does this to, not the first person.
Right, because when you have things happen like that, you're eating more than that year's income.
Yeah, and I don't want someone doing it to me either. Yeah. You know, like I don't want you guys renting something out and then.
And that's how like. What we realize with the background checks is you have people move from out of states and they're like, oh no, I have no evictions in Missouri.
Yeah.
They're telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they have 18 other evictions over the last 20 years in all these other states.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they have to move states.
Exactly. And so it's just having little things like that in place have helped tremendously. But people always, same thing, they're always giving us their little stories and stuff, and we have to kind of look beyond that and just look at what it...
Yeah, them sob stories don't work so much.
The records, you know, say and stuff, because, you know, you might be in a, you know, tough spot and all that, but that's...
Well, they're so nice.
And we got to look out for the land, like the people that we're representing.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's a business, too.
Well, that's what I mean, is like,
you know, like
you have that happen about every rental house, I don't think you'd be using as, you know, property management or none of that, because you're losing money, you're not making money.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right.
If that happens at every house, you're going to be losing money.
Exactly.
And you'll be stressed out all the time. And you're way better off just let them sit. And it's hard at the beginning when you're like, when you don't hardly have the money to even, you know, pay for them.
Yeah.
Like you're just barely able to get them. And then you're like, I need someone in this house.
Yeah.
Right.
And
sometimes you just throw somebody in there and it doesn't work out.
It definitely doesn't work out.
No, it's sometimes better to wait a couple extra weeks to, you know.
I noticed paying for the application fee, like making people pay for application fee, helps a lot.
It does, and that's the that's the background check part of it. So it gives us a full, like for us on our part, it gives a full breakdown.
Yeah,
like
you use the money to pay for the background check.
Yep. It's automated for us, so yeah, they send us a full report. And that's the funny thing is we had one lady was like, yeah, I've never been evicted in Missouri, and here it is, 18 other evictions across other states.
18?
18. So she's just hopping, and she'll sit in that house as long as she can. And you know, in certain states, and definitely with
dude, you gotta get tired of moving. Moving sucks.
Yeah, but you probably don't have much to move.
No.
Jumping state to state like that. And
no. What a life, though. That's got to be a little bit of adventure. Is it not? You know, just to be able to just move everywhere.
But if
and
you
she's
want to
living
go to
free,
buy
man.
something and all that, all those judgments show up. And,
yeah.
You know, because a lot of people have taken her to court, and so she has judgments in all these different states.
Yeah, she probably can't even get a job.
It'd be, all that would be noticed, you know, and stuff like that. So.
Well, yeah, she probably, you know, because anytime I take someone to court, you know, I make sure to be able to like get it to be able to like where it can, what's it called when he pulls out of their paycheck? Like garnish their wages.
Yeah, garnish their wages.
You know, but most people that have their wages garnished, they know it, and they know how to work the system too.
Exactly right,
and they'll work somewhere until they start garnishing the wages, and then they quit.
Yeah.
And move on to the next one.
Yep.
Until like whoever picks up on the fact that it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is a crazy life, man.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to work the system, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of hustle in that too.
I guess.
There really is. I mean, from a different angle, there is a hustle there.
It's sad because the system's broken. You know, you'll never get your money back. But
yeah. No, I never.
I mean, they have to be reading something too to learn how the process works, and so they can stay there for 6 months for free.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened in my house there. The guy knew that he could stay there as long as
and avoid the being served.
Yep. And the cop that had to serve this dude, literally had to like stake out. Well, the guy told me he figured out the cop's vehicle because the cop was going in his personal truck, and I had a white truck, and the cop did too. Oh, that's funny. And he's like, "Oh, that's why he didn't answer the door to me." And that's when I texted the cop. I said, "Dude, quit driving your freaking truck. He knows what you're driving." I was like, "Take my car."
Yeah.
I was like, I got 4 of them. We'll trade it up every day, like, let's swap it up. I'm like, you can't take your truck.
Down the street.
Yeah, and he did that. He had a Prius, and he parked down the road, and he waited till this dude left the house. And he freaking flung down the road, and he said he just parked in the middle of the street and hopped out. And even as he was running up to the guy wouldn't even make eye contact with him. Right. He just stuck his head down and kept walking. And he's like, all I had to do was just actually just put it on him. Yeah, you've been served. So that's yeah,
man. That's what also sucks is if somebody is maybe going through a rougher time and getting their crap straight, and like you said, we don't really do the sob story stuff anymore, and we have to look past that because of things like that,
Yeah, the person that really is trying to get their life back together.
Well, and if they're honest about it, like that's the other thing is I've seen like one guy. We've run into people that they had an eviction from a couple of years back, but they're like, I went through a divorce. I did, They explain what happened. I lost my job at this time. I moved from here to there.
Honestly, I mean, the best people are the ones that don't have a sob story, but you can tell they're down on their luck. But they're not going to tell you about it. They're just going to be like, I need to rent for a little bit. I'll get it figured out and all this stuff. The ones that are, telling you the sob story are the ones that really don't have one per se.
Yeah.
But
they want you to feel guilty.
Exactly right, yeah.
They want you to feel bad.
And the ones that are better, they don't want you to look down on them. They don't want you to feel bad about it. But they're the ones that actually need help and give the benefit of the doubt to. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like it's a tough little situation.
It is, yeah.
But that's the whole thing is it just, if somebody is looking to do that, just be honest from the get-go. Like, this is how I messed up. This is what I did.
And this is how I'm fixing it.
I'm here. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Because I can respect that.
No.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I truly believe that there's going to be a day when I go bankrupt. I truly do. I swear on my life, man. Like, well, I got big dreams, man, and I'm not scared to go for broke.
No.
And so I'm gonna give it my all, dude. And I've had I did that house in Gerald, man. I remember I ran my account down to $1,000 in my bank account, and I just kept running it down because I was using all the money out of my pocket. I wasn't financing it.
Yeah.
And I was just using all the money out of my pocket. But I believed in it, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And I remember when it got down to $1,000, I'm like, whew.
That's rough,
like this is getting close. Like this is getting very close to the wire.
Yeah.
But I knew I was close too, and like there was a lot of things that showed up at the last second that I didn't expect, and it's like you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be able to make this house nice and make it happen, and the week before I went to sell it, the freaking septic system ended up not approving, so I was like. Yeah. I had to get a quote for a whole new set. It was like $10,000.
Yeah.
And luckily the guy's like, well, I'll just take a check. Because I didn't have to have it. I didn't have to have the septic fixed to sell it, but I couldn't on good conscience sell it and not tell the guy. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote the dude a $10,000 check and just moved on with my life.
Yeah.
I just sold it to him and I'm like, hey man. And I told him, I was like, it's going to cost however much to do it. I was like, we can either add it to your loan, or you can not do it. I'll fix it. I'll put the septic in, but I'm going to ask $10,000 more. Right. Like I'm not going to eat it. Right. And so he just paid me $10,000 more, and I just wrote him a check and
got it done.
Yeah. But it was like still, it was like okay, I got to come up. If I had to come up with that $10,000, I don't know what would have happened.
Oh, that's fine.
I would have found a way.
No,
but because I'm not scared to sell cars, I'm not scared to sell anything.
All right.
I don't need nothing.
Well, you just get out there and put a little hustle towards something, and then you can make a little more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the game.
For sure. Well, and they say a lot of like millionaires and billionaires have gone bankrupt at least once in a life.
Good learning curve. Even a lot of the guys listen to like on housing and stuff. Shoot a message one of the other days, freaking billionaire, and here he's like, stick to apartments, get away from the single family homes, and like I'm like, man, you keep saying that. And I'm looking at these deals like. Maybe there's a deal over here though. Like, how can I pass on 45 houses if if it's at?
The problem is, we're not in the area to get apartments. Really, you get
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing.
It's not. You're not in the city. You know, the closest place to go is Rolla or Lynn or something like that to get
But
them.
even to do that and watch over, like even as property management's grown and stuff, that's what we've even seen, to have your thumb more or less on it. Like doing this, small town stuff, it's almost a little harder because it's not central, located.
Yeah.
So
you have 20 units in one spot,
half or, to do this, to work on this stuff, it's a lot different.
You can spend all day driving around small town Owensville just looking at all these damn houses.
Right.
But
I agree that the multifamily is the way to go.
Yeah.
But it's harder to get into the market. Like you said, out here, it's
opportunities around here to get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then even when you go to the city, the markets are just different.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what he basically is saying is he travels all over the United States. So to him, that's a no-brainer when he flies to 5 different states each week and is looking at different multifamily deals. And they're all what we call landlord-friendly states.
Yeah.
So, you can get quicker turnover and get them re-rented and get those rates up.
See, now I've every time I look into, do you go by the 1% rule? Somewhat?
Right, somewhat, yeah.
Because to anyone that's listening that doesn't know, and people are probably freaking bored by now and don't even want to listen to us anymore, but anyone that is listening, like the 1% rule is basically like the rent has to be 1% of the cost of the property.
Right.
Yeah.
And every time I look at any type of like multifamily, it never matches the 1% rule. Never. Every time if it's like, and like I'm interested, I'm like, I would love to buy this property, but it's just like, it's these other investors, and it's like, how do these people, do they not go off the 1% rule? Do they not care? Are they just trying to make some extra money?
I think they're trying to make extra money, It's like, I know
business
it's
for
gonna
them
pay for
too.
itself, but if I can make money on it now, why not? So, we do the same thing, so.
The only people that I just don't understand, like when I sold that house on Maple, I made sure it was meeting a criteria to make money.
Right.
Like how can you, like if I was going to sell my gym and I was going to put it up for sale, I'd want to show that it made money.
Yeah.
And I'd want to show that, hey, if you buy it for this price, you can make this much money.
Yeah.
And so whenever I look at a rental property of any kind, when they say it's an investment property, I look at it and it's less than the 1% rule. I'm like, well, this is a bad business.
Yeah.
This business is losing money.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You're right.
Taxes.
Yeah. Taxes. Yeah. If you got
and so
somewhere you can get.
Yeah, and I guess that's the people that are buying stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got
People
a little
are
bit
trying
extra.
to hide money, and if you're not paying a mortgage on it, then it makes a lot more sense. So.
And some people just have the cash, I guess, too.
Well, and looking at smaller units, it's harder. And that's a lot of things. Like what I've kind of realized too is if you get above probably like 20 units, all that little cash flow makes a lot more sense. And definitely if you can add $100 a door or something in the rent and things like that, because that's an extra $2,000. So in doing little things that are taking away, like they have parking spaces, but they're not charging for them. Now I can add $25 per parking space, for the covered parking. And those extra 20 parking spaces now bring in X amount of dollars, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's more or less when looking, I would say, at multifamily is how to bring it to the next level or take it from the old school guy to what it needs to be, so on and so forth. And fixing it up, showing the tenants, like, I am going to fix this right and it's going to be done right so they stay there longer, like the place and things like that. Like, don't let your shrubs, all that, grow crazy. I like to clear a lot of those out so I don't have to mess with them.
Me too, man. I get in a house, man, I freaking clear it all out.
Yeah.
So just nice mulch or rock or whatever, but yeah, keep it all just simple and clean.
Yeah.
Well, that's the little thing, and make it that way it's that way for them, and they respect the place usually that much more. So
Sure.
as long as they see you're putting in and you're taking care of it, they're usually pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I totally agree. What else? You guys, you got the fair coming up this week.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing for you. Are you gonna, you guys, because last year you guys bought a hog, right?
No, we
You bought a steer?
We bought way too much last year. We bought.
What'd you guys buy last
2
year?
steers, 4 hogs, a sheep, and a goat. Something like that. Yeah.
Holy cow. You guys started a little farm.
Yeah, we went south. The beer was good. I didn't taste it. The beer was great. Yeah. It was bad when I'd get up to go get another round, and I wasn't even sitting there bidding, but then I'd hear, hey, Cathlees Real Estate buys another one, and Chase and Emily were over there buying something. So
that was Emily's fault.
Oh yeah. So,
Emily's your girlfriend.
Yeah, and my girlfriend, wife. Yeah, so it's amazing. Yeah, it was bad when I didn't have the bidder's number, but they would still know who was buying it. Just because Chase was sitting up there drinking, having a good time. So I'm trying to stay sober here. And Chase is going to town.
I think the whole group over there kind of got out of hand with just bidding things up. And
sure.
But it was a good time. Yeah. Ryan's going in partners with us this year.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can run with you guys. You guys are
Hey, all the beer you can drink.
run a little richer than me.
No, we don't.
I'll drink the beer, but I just don't know if I can afford. I can't buy a small farm all at once.
No.
You can too.
You already own one. You
Yeah,
just gotta
exactly.
Put the animals on it.
Sure.
Now you just got to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
So like when you guys buy the sheep and everything else, obviously the hogs, you process the hog and you keep
the beef. Well, we bought a goat last year and a sheep.
you do the beef too. You process the beef.
Yeah.
But you don't have enough beef.
We do, but it's for a good cause. But we give that to the agents.
Yeah, we give it out.
So okay, so like when you guys are buying through Cathlees real estate.
Yeah.
You guys aren't buying for yourselves.
No.
So from a business aspect, the money you guys put in is a tax write-off, right?
Yeah, it is 100%.
And you're also helping the community out.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Like all the 4-H kids and stuff like that. Yeah. So and that's what you grew up doing that.
Yeah.
Did you do it growing up? No, you just got into it after.
I did it, so you got to respect it, and you want to help the kids out, and it's for a good cause. So
yeah. So okay, what about like the sheep? What happens to the sheep?
I mean, sheep. They can some people butcher them and eat them. I don't.
What do you do with it?
We had a goat last year. We tried to.
Oh yeah, that's right. What'd you guys name it?
It was named Ralph. Ralph wouldn't stay in, so Ralph went to the neighbor's house. So.
Oh, okay. So the neighbor got a goat.
The other day. He's doing great though.
Yeah,
oh, that's funny.
But goats just eat everything too, right?
Yeah.
So
they eat everything. They don't stay in. They're not
Little
good.
lawnmowers.
Yeah, they climb on crap too, don't they?
Cars, trucks.
Yeah.
Did it climb on your truck?
Oh yeah.
I'd be pissed.
I wasn't too happy.
Yeah, that's a good reason to get rid of a goat.
Yeah. So
I came up with a business idea one time where we just we start a lawn care business and we get goats. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, they do.
I actually did hear about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, someone took my idea.
Yeah. People go to the city and then they'll be like, an acre or whatever they want to clear, and they'll, nobody wants to take machines up there, so they'll take goats up there and leave them up there for a month, and they'll eat the weeds and bring them back home. So
see, I thought about doing that, and you drop them off for free, and but you charge them to take them away. Right, because they're a nuisance. They're a nuisance. So it's the fee to take them, because people are going to pay whatever you want to take them away.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you just start buying these goats and you just start dropping them off everywhere, and then it's like, okay, now their yard's down to like nubs, and you got to pay $100 to take this goat off your property.
Yeah.
That was my business idea.
Yeah, removal business. Yeah.
Oh man.
So you gave Ralph away.
Gave Ralph away.
Are you gonna buy another Ralph this year?
Hell no.
No.
Ain't happening. So.
How do you know what to buy?
Unless
like,
how you taking this thing home, we're not buying one. No. There ain't no way.
But how do you know what to buy?
I try to buy local kids, people that we know and people that do business with us. So.
Sure.
Try to give back to who gives to us. So.
Sure. Okay. So it's not so much the animal.
No,
it's
the kid. It's the kid, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Animal.
I don't know a lot of kids.
Doesn't mean as much.
I don't know a lot of kids more, and so I don't.
Parents, so.
Okay.
The parents, help you out, do a little business with you. You want to give it back to them, so.
Sure.
Definitely makes a difference.
And also, you coming from that beginning, you kind of want to see them do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Because someone probably did that for you.
And good things for those kids and stuff. So it's like a good program for them to go through.
And growing up, I feel like anybody that growing up on a farm, that's work ethic.
Yeah.
And I don't know very many people that grew up on a farm that don't work hard.
Yeah.
No,
or have at least a really good work ethic.
Exactly right. Yeah.
From all ranges.
Yeah.
From all ranges.
It teaches daily responsibilities.
It does,
at a
sure.
very.
Yes.
You have to be there. You have to show up every day. And there's
no excuses.
Yeah. Exactly.
You got to get up every morning and feed the damn things.
Yeah.
I remember we had horses. Dude, you got to, it's a break of dawn. They're these, horses or cows or whatever. They want fed. They want water. They need all this stuff. There's no sleeping in.
No, there ain't.
I mean, yeah, that's why I don't do it. Because it is hard work, man. And I just feel like I don't...
Hard work for low returns.
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. You know, and I get...
It's a lifestyle, and that's the whole thing.
It's tax write-off, too.
And I get what people like about it. I do get what people like about it. But yeah, you know, I just... And then you always hear about these farmers with cows, and they're always getting out. And you always have... I mean, if it's 2 a.m. and your cow's out, you're getting out of bed.
Yeah, you are.
And you're chasing this cow down.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, if you have a calf, and it's born, don't you have to? I mean, isn't that like a lot to check up on it?
It is, yeah.
Like you can't just this calf can't just be born and just
but it's
be out in the field.
Like you said, I mean, you grew up doing it, so it's kind of like the norm then.
Now, but like right, yeah, but and it teaches you responsibility from a young age.
For sure.
Now, like a cow, like a baby calf, there's some of them can just survive on their own, right?
Oh yeah,
most of them do.
Most of them do, yeah.
It's like because you see some people like bottle feeding these things.
Yeah, no, but most of them.
What's up with that?
Takes care of them, and then sometimes their mom don't want to. Just like some of these women nowadays. All
right, we're gonna stay away from that one. I've never had a cow before, but I've always been intrigued by it. I do think it'd be cool to try it for a while, and I think that if I had a kid, I think I'd probably maybe want some animals.
It's definitely good
to give them some responsibilities. Yeah. Maybe just chickens or something, though. You know, it's
10 chickens or 3 cows. That makes it a
farm.
Right, makes it a farm.
Yeah.
There's your taxes.
Yeah, that's right. How much land you got to have to be considered a farm?
That's only you have to have a set number of acres. You can have
5 acres.
Yeah, I mean,
you can get a loan.
3 acres. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know you could.
Very low, but there has to be something to it.
But when you get a per se farm loan, the land is supposed to have more value than the house if there's a house on it. So
right.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're just buying land, straight up land, then it ain't no big deal. So
yeah.
Right.
But the problem with buying just land and trying to put animals and stuff on it, that makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to get up and drive.
No.
To their farm.
No, you want it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Because that's how. When I grew up, my sister wanted a horse, man. So we got a horse, you know, and then we ended up with 4 because my parents liked it, and I hated horses. I don't hate, and I chalk it up to this, man. I chalk it up to this because, you know, horses are cool, and like everybody rides horses around here, and like sure, it does seem fun. It does seem fun, and it seems like, you know, all these trails they go like these rides and stuff. It all seems fun, but like my experience was that. My farm was 15 minutes out of Gerald, so from my house, and so we get off school, and I'd have to go home because we put them in every night, and or not every night, but quite often, and we had to go there and clean out their stalls, and I don't ride these things. And after cleaning the stall, I don't want to ride it. Like I'm like I hate these things now, you know. Like I'm cleaning up after these things.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed like so much work And I think that's where I like started falling into like more like 4-wheelers and dirt bikes, stuff like that. I think that's where I liked it more. Yeah, you know, you just get on it, just got a battery on it, you just turn the key, start it, and take off. You know, there's no poop to clean up, nothing like that, no maintenance. You can let it sit for maintenance. Well, yeah, but you got to feed it every day. There's no food bill. You just put some gas in it and move on with your life. So I don't know. I do think it is good though. Yeah, have some stuff like that. And I've even thought about like chickens here, but also heard they're hard to keep. Like chickens are hard to keep. Don't you have to keep them in a thing? Like coyotes and stuff kill them a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody that here have chickens. Like their dogs eating it or coyotes are eating it in the middle of the night. Something's eating it.
Yeah.
Get a what?
Get a donkey to protect chickens.
Yeah.
A donkey?
Yeah.
Is this how it goes? It's like a chain thing. Like you buy one and then you have to get something for the donkey.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a donkey, man. I've heard them things. Them things that keep me up at night. I hate anything like at night, like a dog barking at night is the absolute worst. I can't stand it.
Does your dog bark at night?
Yeah, it does. It drives me insane. Drives me insane. Yeah. And it barks at like it chases birds. And so there's a bird coming across the yard. Here it is barking at it, man. and I've gotten to the point where I have learned to like tune it out, but then my dog just runs free. And I know some of my neighbors hate it. And there's times where I've had to get up at like midnight because he's in the neighbor's yard barking at a bird.
Really?
And if you're barking in my yard, hey, that's okay. But you don't go to the neighbor's house and start keeping them up.
The bird went over there.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, it's crazy. And I've tried getting like the electric dog fence and stuff. Try to keep him in it.
Work.
It don't work, man.
He just runs right through it.
He's a freaking wild animal. Yeah. Well, you can even, because it like beeps when he goes through it, and you can see him like shaking his head, and he just freaking shakes through it, man. And I think once he gets to a certain point, I think it quits.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like your dog, he just runs free, right?
It's wild, yeah.
But they have plenty of land.
Yeah, they just go where they want.
Yeah. See, I'm only on 5 acres, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I'm on a major highway.
Yeah, that does make a difference. Yeah,
keep them
like County Road's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's still a danger, but
not as much. Yeah.
Right. Well, what do you guys think? Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Should we end it here? We're probably an hour in.
Yeah, we're at least an hour in.
I feel like we got some good stuff.
I
mean,
so.
do you guys want to plug anything? You guys got anything big going on? You want to advertise?
You got the fair coming
Yeah,
in.
it's fair coming up. Come on after that. It's a big Gasconade County Nationals.
Yeah.
Go check out. Use Cathlees if you're going to buy any type of real estate.
Always, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Find
That's a given. That's
yeah.
a given.
I mean, in this area, it's pretty easy to see you guys. I mean, you got billboards and everything like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anybody, I mean, you guys service all the way up to Washington and stuff too, right?
Yep.
I mean, you guys aren't scared to drive somewhere.
No.
No, that's our job.
Yeah. So if anyone's listening to this, you guys are looking for a real estate agent, definitely hit either Chase or Morgan up. Surely they both help you out.
Yeah.
Whether you guys are looking to get into investment properties or just
First-time
looking to buy,
homebuyer,
you're looking to buy your first house or whatever, like.
Giant farm, I'd love to sell it.
Exactly.
Yeah, or a giant farm, or if you guys are looking for one, if you guys are looking for something, go to them, because that's a lot of times that's where I found my deals, and that's why I work with you guys, because I'm not in real estate full time, so I want you guys. I rely on you guys to look for me,
Yeah.
Right.
and you guys have found me a lot of deals.
Yeah.
Right.
You found me my first rental property.
Yeah.
And so like that's a lot of times how it goes, and you're always telling me you're like, hey, I found this house, sell your house, and let's go buy this house and stuff. So
Time to make your money and move on.
yeah, these guys can help you guys out a bunch if anyone's listening and you guys are looking for something like that. Go Cathlees.com, right? Is it just
Cathlees.com.
is it Cathlees or Cathlees Real Estate?
Cathlees.com.
Yeah.
Cathlees.com. And you guys are what I noticed are one of the only real estate companies that do a lot of commercial stuff too.
Yeah, we try to basically go into all avenues of real estate there, and even with the property management, that's
yeah, because you do property management too. Yeah, so if somebody has rental properties and they're looking to get in, to where they don't have to manage them all the time, hit you up as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and do they just contact Cathlees?
Same thing. Yeah, we'll get them set up with Crystal and stuff like that, and get them on if that's the case.
So just call the number on the website.
Yep.
Sure, man. Sure. Cool. Yeah, I just noticed that was a big thing every time, because I look for commercial buildings, and so Cathlees is one that always comes up, and it feels like it has the most updated stuff.
Yeah.
And I might be biased, but I just noticed a lot, when I'm looking for a commercial building, Cathlees is one has updated posts on it.
No, I have a live feed, so when they come on, actually, that it puts all of them out there. Definitely the first, anything new in the last 24 hours, different stuff, he'll put it on the front page and stuff like that of our website. So
cool. And a benefit to buying through a real estate agent is you guys get to see stuff before it hits the market.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not always, but a lot of times you guys get to see stuff before they hit the market.
When it's coming on, yeah.
So if someone's sitting out there and they don't have a real estate agent before they buy, and they're just checking realtor.com or Zillow, you guys might not see it. It might already, Morgan might have seen it come on the market. He's already been talking to someone, and so as soon as it hits the market, they're already putting an offer in.
Yeah.
Right.
And so by the time you're seeing it on Zillow or Realtor, somebody's already put an offer in. You guys are a day late.
A lot of times that's what's going on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I guess the other thing is people might be like, yeah, I might sell, but I don't want to put it as a listing, and you get those one-time showings and things like that too. So there's sometimes things that are on the market but not on the market just because they don't want to put it up online basically. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
or somebody's kicking it around, so we try to put something together doing different ways like that. So
yeah, or if they're looking to sell, hit you guys up as well, because people underestimate the power of being able to put it out on like Realtor and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely get max price that way and get all those out-of-state buyers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because when you're selling your stuff personally just on Facebook or something like that, or even if you put it on Zillow, like a lot of people, like I don't even check Zillow anymore because it's so hit or miss. I mean, every now and then I will, but Realtor is the one you really want to go to.
Yeah, they don't update. As Realtor is directly connected with us, so
yeah, and you can put in, you guys, because you guys are doing this full time. The person that's selling the house, they can work their full time job, and you guys can be sitting there showing it.
Yeah.
Right.
10 different people all day long.
Right.
You guys put a lockbox on it. You can get other realtors. If someone else is using a realtor, like it just can. Like you guys list the house for someone, and then another company knows somebody, because all these companies, most people have a realtor that they're say, I'm looking for a property, and then you guys list it, and then they're able to go show it. But if someone tries to sell it themselves, they don't have that benefit.
No. Well, and just getting it out there to everybody, like the agent in St. Louis might be looking for their client up there, cash buyer, yada, yada, yada. Putting it out there on the MLS brings in the max value. And that's even what the appraisers use for comps. So, I mean, that's the way you'll get the max dollar. And now I know people want to save money and stuff like that, but a lot of times you're not going to get where there's some houses getting 5-6 offers in highest and best situations. And
right.
If you want to try to get after it, and a lot of people right now are doing coming soon, and that's honestly the best probably benefit, to do a little coming soon, get it out there for a weekend and see what you have, and you'll see if you're priced right, because if you are, you'll have multiple offers.
Right. Yep. And you guys also back everybody up too, right?
No, right. We walked everybody through that, process, and we try to get them their max dollar.
And but if something bad were to happen.
No, right.
Like with the you guys, because you guys set the contract up.
Yeah.
If something bad happens with that contract, you guys
the inspections, everything, and make sure that they're covered.
Because most people don't buy multiple houses. A lot of people buy one, maybe two houses their entire lifetime.
Right, and they really not comfortable or know the process that well.
You guys can walk in a house and you're like, this is the 10th house I looked at this week. That's a freaking old AC unit.
Yeah.
Right.
And it might look good. Someone might take good care of it, but you guys can look at it and be like,
tell a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, or like you guys can tell stuff that some people just might not know.
Overlook too. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I've noticed, you guys do a lot of real estate, and you guys worked with probably every single real estate agent in 50-mile radius?
Yeah.
Pretty. Yeah.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. So like, I feel like that's a big deal too.
Well, no, and we do business with everybody, and that's the Park Covenant stuff. And a lot of times I'll even have other realtors and stuff and reach out and say, hey, I have this coming up, just to let you know here in a couple weeks, different things.
Yeah, you guys are just friends with everyone.
Yeah.
You guys just, it's.
We all work together, so
yeah, it is a networking thing in a sense, and so like there's when you have that many people working together. And you guys are just hustlers. I mean, you guys not hustlers, but you guys hustle in your guys' field, and you guys not only are selling real estate, but you guys are also buying real estate too. And so like you guys are hungry and you guys are in it, versus the person that did it just because they're like, oh, real estate market's good right now and I'm going to get in real estate because I can make a check.
I can make a commission, right?
Yeah, like you guys.
We kind of practice what we preach.
Exactly.
Yeah. You guys are passionate about it. You guys are putting in some work. Some of these people just. They're going in these houses and they don't even know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't want to
make a dollar. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be with that person.
No.
Because you're going to end up, they're not even going to be able to spot a problem.
Yeah.
They're just more worried about getting through the process and making the buck.
Yep. All right. So you guys heard it. Go with these guys if you guys need a house. I guess that's it. We're going to wrap it up. I think that was a pretty good podcast, really.
Good first one.